It was this spring that we first realized there was something going on. What we saw first was the lodge that they're had built on the edge of the dock, and only realized after we saw that lodge being built that they were also building a dam across the spillway. And we thought, oh, this is so interesting, and we watched for a while, and then we realized that the dam across the spillway was bringing the water level of the pond up enough that it was going to crest our dam and wash out our dam. And so we realized we had to do something, and Mike got the tractor and pulled out their dam. But that did not make the beavers leave. They've been here happily, and their lodge is over here on the dam, and they've got burrows all in the bank all around here, and we're a little worried they'll destroy the pond. So I think it's time for the beavers to go.
Okay, so this is how we're going to start this process. I'm in an area right now where we've got a couple of traps that have been set by previous trappers. The beaver problem is evident everywhere, and what we're going to do is set up a couple of traps that were left behind by the trapper who was here before. And this is one of those traps. This is called a 330 conibear, and this is one of the most effective beaver traps you can have. I've been using this for years, and it's what I would recommend anytime you have a beaver problem. Find a trapper who's got a bunch of these. Now this trap here is set and ready to go. In fact, one of the safeties has just fallen off. And the safeties are now set, and this is how we're going to place this in, and I'll show you a close-up of how I'm going to do that in just a second. The other trap we're going to use is it's called a leg hold trap, and it's set for a drowning rig. This line here is staked in. This is a steel cable that's staked into the ground, and we're going to set this trap over here on the bank. I don't know if you can see that right there, but the bank has had a lot of beaver activity going up and down it. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to make a choke hold, a choking point that's going to have some sticks and stuff tacked into the ground, making a direct avenue of approach for the beaver to go over this trap. And then the other side of this line, of this wire, is going to be connected to a brick that you can see here in the water. And this is going to be thrown out into the pond a little bit further in the deeper end. And hopefully the goal is that the beaver gets trapped and struggles, and as he struggles, this trap goes on down the line into the deeper part of the water and he drowns. So that's what we're going to set here in just a few minutes. I'll give you some close-ups of how it's all going to look. But definitely a lot of beaver activity here on the pond, and looking forward to coming out tomorrow morning and collecting some beavers. Okay, so what we got here is a bank that's being heavily used by the beavers, and what we're going to do is take some water in my hand, just kind of throw it up on the bank, and I'm going to slick this bank down. And what that does, for some reason, as I've learned over the years, they like a slick landing spot. They like a landing, and if you can make just a slick area for them, it just looks attractive for them. It looks like a highway well traveled. They're more apt to use it. And so that's just something I've learned over the years. And this water is really cold right now. It's like in the 30s outside. And so if you can just take some water and slick that bank down, they will see that and be more ready and willing to use it. Now, got that slicked down. What I'm going to do is I'm going to take some of these sticks here you see that they've chewed up. I'm going to break these up, and I'm just kind of stick them in the ground. And what I'm going to do is make a choke point for them to go into. So really I want them to come up into the slick of this bank between really these 2 points. And so what I'm going to do is make them want to come up. I have to guide their steps into this area. And so I'm just going to take some sticks like this and just make a direct avenue of approach for those beavers, so that they'll come up and it'll just be a natural entry point into this bank. And what we do after I've done all that, I'm going to take this trap, I'm going to place it just underneath the surface of the water, about like so, and so that they want to head for this area right here, and they won't be able to see that trap, and then we'll get them, and then they'll go down the drowning rig. So pretty simple, really easy, very straightforward. Get them to come up this way. If anybody comes up this way, they'll be hit by this trap and drowned. Okay, well, you can see what I've done here is I've installed a 330 conibear through a direct avenue of approach where these beavers have been traveling. There's a small little outpouring of water right here, and then there's like the main part of the lake is behind me over here. And so they've been moving through here, and they actually had a lodge here at one point, a very large one, and that was tore out by a tractor. And what I've done here is place the 330 conibear over between these two rocks, and as I can see, it's evident that there's a good amount of traffic through this point. This should produce a beaver. I'm not sure sure about the bank. I mean, I've caught beavers on a bank before a number of times. However, these usually almost always produce. Now over here, I've got a little bit of a problem. I'm going to clear this up. This could be another way where they could get around the trap, especially if a beaver's trap shy and he may know what this is. I'm not sure what the education is of these beavers, or what they know and what they don't know, but you can definitely educate beavers very quickly on what things to stay away from if they've had close encounters with traps before. So what I'm going to do here is close this off to make sure that there's no other way around into this area here, and then this will be the only direct avenue of approach. Okay, so the most success I've ever had trapping with beaver is when I trap in what I found right here, and that's a canal. A lot of times you see along the banks of these places where the beaver are active, whether it be creeks or other places, you see these canals going through the water where a lot of traffic has taken place. And what I have found right here, when I was walking along the bank here, I immediately saw this divot. You see how the creek comes along and then dips in and then goes back out? That's a canal. That canal leads to a tunnel that goes underneath this bank, and it's actually part of the dam that's owned by the landowner, that was put together by the landowner. And so they're really worried that this could erode because of these beavers and break the dam, and then the pond, the lake behind me, would empty out. And so if you want to catch beaver, you find these places. These are high traffic areas. There's something going on underneath this bank. They're either digging, they're having a family, or there's some kind of family den here. But there's a lot of traffic, and these canals are heavily trafficked, and you can put a trap in here, and 9 times out of 10 you're going to come out with a beaver. So I'm going to give you a close-up of this. Okay, you can see just there. Here's the edge of the bank underneath the water. You can see that, and where they're traveling is right underneath there. There's a tunnel there, and so there's a deep canal that goes along the bottom of the lake here. And so it comes in here and just goes in there. So what I'm going to do is place my 330 conibear directly in the path of that canal, and they'll swim through it. When they come to it, they'll think it's just a couple sticks or whatever, and they'll try to swim through it, and that's what'll catch them. Now, you may have seen in the video I did before when I was showing you the pelts, a picture of one of these inside of the bank of a creek. And here's that picture again. It's the same thing. It's the exact same thing. So basically what we're doing is setting, except for this one, this is a lot easier to set because there's a canal that's going along the bottom of the lake bed, and it's real easy to put a trap in here. That with the other picture, it was kind of hard to do, I think, and that's why I did it. It was too hard to get to, but I did take a picture of it. But this is going to be a perfect place to set a trap and come up with a beaver. Okay, so here we have the latest lodge that these beavers have made on this landowner's property. It's on the side of the pond, side of the lake. And last time I came out here earlier in the summer, and I was looking at the situation. They said that they had beavers out here, and sure enough they did. There were a couple of tunnels I saw coming into this bank here along the bank, the side of the pond, and it looks like they've taken one of those dens, one of those holes that was coming into the bank, and they've made a lodge over the top of it. And so what the landowner is extremely concerned about is that on the other side over here, this is the dam for the pond, for the lake. And over on the other side of this area is a big drop off. And so if they damage this enough, this could give way and they could lose this pond over the spillway. And so they're very concerned about that. And that would be many thousands of dollars worth of damage to repair and put back together. Okay, we're back, and we're gonna go check our traps now. And so what I did on a number of traps, I staked them down. You see a piece of rebar here that I've staked down. And this trap here was particularly really low. The canal that we saw was really low. And so I'm pretty sure, just by looking at the tightness of this chain and what the condition of the trap is in, we've got a beaver on the end of this trap. So let's go ahead and pull him out. Yeah, he's a good sized one. There's your beaver. That's a good sized beaver. Okay, so here he is. We've got him out of the trap, and we're gonna go ahead and take this guy home and get him fleshed and skinned out, and go ahead and see what this pelt will measure out to be. All the other ones turned up empty, but we'll come back out again tomorrow morning and see what we got.
That's my first beaver, and I've never seen a flappy tail like this.
Yeah, it's got a flappy tail, doesn't he?
I think that's maybe what they use to get other predators away, so it scares them.
Yeah, they use that, yeah, for defense sometimes, to scare people away. Or scare things away. Yeah, he's got a flat tail, doesn't he?
And probably he hits him.
Yeah, yeah. Very cool. All right, we're going to head home. Well, we spent about a whole week out here, and we are kind of coming up short. We've only caught one beaver. The neighbor actually shot a beaver, and so there's 2 beavers taken out of this pond that you see behind me. And we've been going for another whole week here without seeing any more beaver sign. And so we did see one tree that was being chewed on pretty regularly, but it's kind of stopped. And so, and if it was an adult beaver that was living in this pond, it's a small tree. They would have taken that tree down pretty fast, within a couple of days. And so what I think is either happening here is that you have a small beaver that's in this pond, the only one left, or it's maybe moved, whatever beaver that was here has moved on. And so there's a tributary, a small creek nearby. That's how the beavers got here. The homeowners who live on this land haven't seen beaver activity on this lake for 30 years, and then all of a sudden one year beavers show up. And it came in probably from the creek that's nearby. And so there's a good chance that maybe that beaver got back in that creek and then headed on to the next pond or a different locale. So anyway, we've had a good time here. We caught one beaver. That pelt is going to be sold on our website. We have fleshed it, and it's skinned, fleshed, and it's being tanned right now. And that'll be available at some point on our website for somebody to purchase. But we've had a good time trapping. We'll do some more trapping videos coming up in the near future. We'll show you how to catch some bobcats, some foxes here around the chicken house of our homestead. So stick around for those. We'll see you next time on the homestead. If you enjoyed this video, please click the thumbs up button below the video. It really makes creating these videos worthwhile. If you want to make sure to never miss a new video, be sure to click the subscribe button. Now you can get your homesteading questions answered. Visit us at our contact page on AnAmericanHomestead.com and send us your questions. Maybe we'll pick your question for a future video or article on our website.